Junk drawers can quickly become a cluttered mess, but with a little effort, you can declutter it once and for all. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to take control of your junk drawer and transform it from cluttered to organized and streamlined. But first, did you know that junk drawers haven't always existed? Now, this might come as a bit of a shock to you if, like me, you grew up in a household with at least one junk drawer or maybe multiple junk drawers and you just thought that's just the way people live. That's just the way of life. But that's not the reality. In fact, the junk drawer concept wasn't even a thing until some experts think that it came about after kind of the post-World War II era when a lot of families had more disposable income and they started to accumulate, guess what? More stuff and more clutter. And so hence the junk drawer was born. While I'm going to walk you through how to declutter and organize your junk drawer, maybe like me, you decide you're going to get rid of the whole kit and caboodle and simplify. So we'll talk about that more in just a second, but let's get to the nitty gritty. So number one, when it comes to looking at your junk drawer from a 30,000 foot view, you need to determine the purpose. Now, if you want a junk drawer as that space that catches all the things and you're good with that, by all means, keep doing it. You can still use this video to help you declutter and organize, but maybe you decide, listen, this is just a waste of prime real estate in my kitchen or my office, wherever you have junk drawers, and you just want to revamp the whole purpose. So if the purpose is to hold things that are helpful and that you currently use, that's going to impact the type of items you keep in there from now on. But let's go back to the types of common items that end up in junk drawers to begin with. Number one, items that don't have a true home, things that come home from the grocery store, from your kids, from when you get home from work, and you're just like, oh, put it in the junk drawer, right? We've all done that. Number two, office type supplies, papers, scissors, paper clips, rubber bands, scrap paper and the like, random toy pieces, items that you've been meaning to fix. And speaking of fixing, those little teeny tiny screwdrivers that are so cute, maybe you've got one of those in your junk drawer as well, extra pens, pencils, highlighters, and a lot of items that don't have a current purpose, but you don't really want to throw them away either. And just like all kinds of other things. Put in the comments the stuff that's in your junk drawers. No judgment, no shame, but let's talk about it. The idea is it can get real overwhelming real quickly. And before you know it, when you go to reach for one of those things in your junk drawer, you can't even find it, which defeats the purpose. And when we're talking about the purpose, I'm a big believer of what we call it will attract. So as you can imagine, the junk drawer tends to attract lots of junk. So consider renaming it, as silly as it sounds, to the helpful drawer, the fix-it drawer, the supplies drawer, the literally anything but junk drawer. I promise you, it'll make a big difference. What I like about tackling junk drawers is they're usually pretty quick wins. So I'm a big fan of step one, you're really just gonna pull everything out. You're getting to the nitty gritty, right? You're gonna see what you have, you're gonna reorganize everything so you can see your inventory. Now, this can be briefly overwhelming, but it's really important to have a clear picture of what's in there. And as you start sorting things into categories, you're going to be able to see if you have too many of a certain category, if you can rehome them to a better suited spot in your home. Maybe things like tools and cords and so on, you determine can live in the garage or a home office instead of a junk drawer that might be in your kitchen. This is also going to help you identify what can be kept and what can be donated. And speaking of cords, whether you store cords in the junk drawer or just in your home office or a variety of spaces in your home, I swear by these little cord organizers. These are going to keep all the cords nice, tight, and streamlined so they're not flying all over the place. I love these. I got these on Amazon. Now, I'm also a big fan of being resourceful. So if you have things like bread ties and the like, or rubber bands that could serve a purpose, instead of getting these, by all means do it. But literally I have 0 rubber bands or bread ties in this house, kind of by design. So I got these bad boys. Now, probably as you're making your piles, you're gonna be able to quickly identify things you don't need anymore. Old receipts, broken stuff that you're not gonna fix, or stuff that you don't wanna fix, but belongs in the trash. So that's an instant facelift to your junk drawer, but I want to encourage you to dig a little bit deeper here and potentially donate some of those excess consumables that are sitting in there. If you're anything like I was, I had these big boxes from like Sam's Club and Costco of highlighters, pens, and paper clips and rubber bands. The reality was I wasn't going through paper clips and rubber bands and all these things fast enough. Like the amount I had would have lasted me more than a lifetime. So I decided to find some local schools nearby. I actually called my son's school at the time and asked them if they had a need for any like home office supplies that I just didn't want to hang on to for, 80 plus years and hand down to my future grandkids. And guess what they said? Yes, bring it to us. If you, like me, have excess consumables that you just realize you don't want to hang on to and you'd rather have the space and clarity of not having them, find a local nonprofit, school, church. I mean, there's so many different people and organizations who'd be more than happy to take that off your hands. And guess what? They're going to go through it a heck of a lot faster than you will at home. Now, here are 3 questions you can ask to help you identify if you can let some of this stuff go. Number 1, when was the last time I used this? So my firm boundary here is 6 months. If I haven't reached for something in 6 months and I don't plan on using it in the next 6 months as well, holy cannoli, like get it out of my life. I want my physical space and I want my mental space I'm gonna gain from that back too. Maybe for you, it's been 6 months since you used it, but it's a type of item that you only use once or twice a year. I would highly recommend you getting that out of your junk drawer or whatever you rename it and putting it somewhere in like a garage or in a spot that you don't need so accessible. You don't need it taking up prime real estate. So just rehome it in a different spot in your house. Question 2, when was the last time I needed this? Question 3, when was the last time I looked for this? 3 to 6 months tends to be my window. So whatever it is for you, it can be less, it can be more. Just have a number in mind so that you can easily, more objectively decide if you're gonna donate and let go of some of these things. Find appropriate storage solutions. Now, you don't have to go spend an arm and a leg to do this. If you are one of those people that tends to hoard little boxes that could come in handy in the future, now is your chance to shine. Like run upstairs or run wherever those are, go get those little boxes. These are gonna help keep everything separated, organized, and easy to find. Exhibit A, here's my silverware drawer, and you can see what I did is I commandeered the very last like 3 to 4 inches in the back that's typically wasted space, and I used cute little boxes that I think came with, honestly, I think they're the boxes that came when I bought these. So I was like, perfect. I put them back there. They keep the little things organized, and then as you can see, I keep pencils, pens on the left. These are things we use on an everyday or at least every week basis. That is by design. Again, I don't need things I use once a month or once a quarter in this type of space. If you want to label, now is a perfect time to do it as you are putting things and reorganizing them back into the storage solutions within the drawer. I will say the advantage to labels is they're especially helpful if you have family members as they take things out and need to put things back. There's no guesswork. They can see exactly where things go. Now you're going to put things back in an organized manner. And as you're adding those little bins, it kind of feels like a little game of Tetris. So test things out, shift things around, and make it fit and suit your needs and the types of things that you need to keep in that drawer. All right, now you're ready to hear the big secret. You've done the hard work, you've decluttered, you've reorganized, you put everything back into the drawer and in its space. Now, how do you make sure it doesn't fill back up with junk? All right, friend, are you ready to learn the secret to not re-junking your drawer? All you're gonna do is once a month, yes, once a month, simply reset this space. You're gonna go through just the initial stages of the steps we talked about today. You don't have to pull everything out again because your hard work is still gonna be paying off in a month as far as organization and streamlined aspect to it. But you're just gonna go through, again, tackle the superficial clutter, the broken, excess, unused. Now you've got some places you know to donate to, but it's gonna be so much easier to maintain. And a lot of the things I can guess are probably just gonna be trash. All it takes is a little time to turn your chaotic junk drawer into a functional and organized space. But if you're like most families, your drawer is right smack in the middle of the kitchen. If you're ready to take on the rest of your kitchen space, make sure to click the video on your screen now.